In, say hello. Come on in, say hello. Come on in, say hello. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. My sidekick is right next to me. I think I must be a cool one. Well, I don't know if Nigerian mothers are cool, but I have to be cool to an extent because my sidekick is never far away. You guess. My sidekick is never far away. TJ. TJ Olaleye. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. Let's get his glasses on so we can see. We can see. Hi, Temitayo Bakari. Come on in. If you are just joining us for the first time, say hello. Hi, and a blessing. Thank you. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody has had a blessed week so far. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓. So that's something. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome. Hi, TikTok family. Hello, it's YouTube and Facebook family. Come on in, everyone. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. You see, I know how to beat drums, right? Hi, everyone. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Welcome. Yesterday, 897. Thank you for joining. Hello, Miss Sabina. Hey, everyone says hi. Sidekick. Everyone say hi. Look at my sidekick. Look at my handsome son. Look at my boy. Yeah, we're hanging out together tonight. Hi, Miss Anna Sanctuary. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good evening. I hope you've had a blessed and favored week, because there's nothing that is beyond God's capable and able hands. Let's talk immigration. Hey, Miss Christiana, it was good speaking with you today. Good evening. Yes, please kindly like and share and subscribe. We're trying to build. Hello, Mama. Hi, TJ. Everyone says hi, TJ. My baby, that's my psychic. Anyway, you see, if you see me, it's not far away. Except it's in school. What can we do? Absolutely, Mr. Jill. Thank you for joining. If this is your first time, let us know what state, what city, what state, what country you're joining us from. Welcome to the most positive. I'm going to need your help. Most positive space platform in social space, or something along those lines. But it is true. Zero tolerance for negativity. There's enough of that out there. All things immigration, immigrants supporting, hello, God's favorite, immigrants supporting other immigrants and encouraging one another, motivating one another, praying for one another, which is the most positive immigration space on social platforms, safest space to celebrate immigration victories and ask questions about new policies with me right here. So y'all don't even know. This is therapeutic for me. Every Tuesday, Thursday, just knowing that you've got like-minded people. You know, once in a while we'll get those trolls, and then we block them and send them on their way, so they can go to where they actually belong. But we keep this space for ourselves. And now you're heading out. All right. Thanks for hanging out. So let us know where you're joining from. This is a safe space for you to ask all things immigration. We get to questions at the end of what we're going to talk about, which that's on the screen, what we're talking about today. Let me put this back here. But if we have some time, I take questions, general information, general responses to people's questions. We offer one-on-one consultations if you need to do that, especially in cases where you need to talk about your specific case. Then that's going to be something that is worth you scheduling a paid consultation for. Our contact information is 334-341-4475. Visit us at olalayelawfirm.com. info@olalayelawfirm.com. Contact at olalayelawfirm.com. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Olaleye Immigration. Let's talk all things immigration, y'all. It's been it's been the longest 2 months of our lives, right? It's like it's been the longest 2 months being an immigrant in the United States. Welcome from Chicago, Illinois. Miss Chiloy, thank you for joining. We actually have people. The other day, someone was joining in from Panama, not Panama City, Florida, no, real like Panama country. I was like, y'all want more money and those areas, but we thank God. I'm telling you, it's been the longest 2 months of our existence in this country. I'm telling you. But as my mom would say, there's no one. I mean, God has spoken each and every one of us into existence. So it is what it is. We're going to survive it. We're going to survive it. Anyway, all right, let's talk immigration, y'all. Let's maximize the time we had because I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. It's been a long day. But this is, I look forward to coming on because it actually motivates me and actually preps me up. But let's talk immigration. So I want to talk about naturalization denied due to divorce decree. So if you have you filed a naturalization application, it's denied due to divorce decree. Usually happens majority of the time to Africans. I'm actually dealing with a case, actually 2 cases now. There's one, they questioned someone's divorce decree from Ghana, and the other one is from Senegal. So it's not just Nigerians. I don't know what's going on. But because majority of what was happening under the Biden administration was Nigerians, but now it's like they're branching out to everything else. Upbeat of what has been playing a repeat slave to fear. What is this guy? What is his name? Jonathan. Is it Jonathan, right? Jonathan. I love that. I love that song. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I love that song. I am a child of God. That is, listen, we need it. But anyway, so if you have you file for naturalization, which is citizenship application, and it's denied, I get the questions at the end. So just put your questions in the comment section and we'll go through the question, as many questions as possible. So your file for citizenship application is denied by USCIS due to divorce decree issue, right? And usually for the most part, they would allege that you submitted an inauthentic document or fraudulent documents, whatever word they choose to use. What happens to your Bethel Music, Jonathan David Henson or something like that? What happens to your green card? Does it mean that you lose your green card? Does it mean that you get deported? What is the consequence? Do you get to keep your green card? What is the consequence of that? So let's talk about that. Filing for naturalization, you file based on being a member, joining the military, being based on 3 years because you're married to a citizen, or you got your green card through citizenship, or everybody else defaults to 5 years. One thing I've seen, and I had a consult today regarding this specific issue, so I was like, let me just talk about this. Hello, Miss Peggy. What happens if USCIS now decides to question your divorce decree at the time that you file for naturalization? And you're like, okay, yes, because they just sent someone a notice of continuance, which was the basis of the consultation with him today. What happens in a situation like that? Well, does it mean that if the case now gets denied, do you lose your green card based on that? And there's no yes or no answer to that, to be honest with you. And here's why. So let's go through what the scenarios, hello, Miss Lucy, that could potentially happen and the consequences that you may have to deal with based on that. All right. So number one, if you're, and we're hey, mama, everybody say hello to my mother. I did turn 63. If you have a citizenship application that's denied, because USCIS has alleged that, and usually what happens because they're not going to say that it's denied because, for a fraudulent document. It will be a case of because documents, it's not something you submitted during your naturalization, so it will be denied based on the fact that they are going to claim you were not lawfully admitted as a legal permanent resident, in a sense of you were not legally free to marry your spouse. So if you're not legally free to marry your spouse, then we should not have given you the green card. And based on the fact that we gave you that green card in error, and we now are realizing after 200 years that we're questioning that divorce decree, then if you did not lawfully get admitted lawfully as a green card holder, then you do not qualify for naturalization. So that will be the basis of the denial, which was what happened in this guy's. Well, the notice of continuance is claiming that he was not lawfully admitted. So if it not gets denied based on that, what happens to the green card? It depends on what the basis of your application is and how many years you've had that green card for. So example, just to give you examples, right? Someone who filed for naturalization based on 3 years as a legal permanent resident and you're married to a U.S. citizen. You file for naturalization and then it gets denied because they question your divorce document that you use to get the green card, which they had no problem with in the first place. But all of a sudden, somebody says, hey, this is not right, so let's make a big deal out of nothing. Once that naturalization application is denied, USCIS can actually initiate rescission proceedings against that person. So what do I mean by rescission proceedings? That means that they can move to rescind your legal permanent residency status. In other words, rescission proceedings is going to still land you in deportation proceedings. It's not deportation, but it's going to land you in, let me put it this way, it's going to land you in immigration court before an immigration judge. So the INA, the Immigration and Nationality Act, already protects USCIS in the sense of if they issue you your green card in error, even if it's on them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't say, well, if it was their error, then they lose. No, even if it's an error on their part and it is still within a 5-year period of issuing you that green card, they catch that error, they can actually rescind the status. That is what is in the Immigration and Nationality Act. Whether or not it's their error or it's not your fault. You give them documents that said it was fine and now they're changing their mind. If it still lasts in the 5-year period, absolutely they can start rescission proceedings against you. So basically refer to immigration court and seek to get that green card away from you. So that's one consequence. And that's for people who have their green cards less than 5 years. If your green card you've had your legal permanent resident status for more than 5 years, at the very least 5 years, because they have a statute of limitation where if within that 5-year period, USCIS does not, they don't get to know that they should not have issued that green card, and you're filing for naturalization based on 5 years. By the time you have your interview, you already passed the 5 years. At that point, they can no longer rescind your legal permanent residency status. They're out of luck on that. So you got to keep your green card. But here's the catch. Even a 10-year green card holder, someone who's been here for years, if you commit a deportable offense, that person can be placed in deportation proceedings and eventually deported based on them finding that you're deportable based on an action or inaction or commission of an offense that they allege against you. So even in a situation where they cannot rescind your legal permanent residency status because now you're past that 5-year mark, they can still allege that the green card was obtained fraudulently by submission of the fraudulent documents. So if they actually do that, then they now can decide to place you in deportation proceedings rather than rescission proceedings. Everything is still landing in immigration court, but different proceedings. In a situation where they allege fraud, and not to get too technical, but there's an option, there's an application for relief in court, a 237H waiver, which is a fraud waiver that can always apply for. But that is for those, if the reason why you're not immigration court is fraud, then they can do that. Because now they cannot rescind your status, but they can pursue deportation proceedings against you based on commission of a deportable offense. Does that make sense? So that's why it said it depends on, 1 second. It depends on what stage you're in at the time that they decide that divorce document is fraudulent. If it's still within that 5-year mark, then they can actually, after denial of the N-400 application, then they can move to rescind your status as long as you haven't had that green card for up to 5 years. If you're beyond the 5-year mark, they cannot rescind your status, but they can actually place you in deportation proceedings based on allegation of fraud. So it would just depend on what stage you're in and how long you've had your green card for. That will determine what kind of allegations or proceedings they can put you in. And sometimes they won't. Now, in the previous administration, including even under Bush, right, they deny your application, naturalization application, end of story. You move on. Life goes on. Sometimes there's some people like you. Green card is all you're gonna have. You renew it, no problem, right? We're living in different times. So in cases like this, if they deny you based on divorce decree and they're alleging fraud, you just don't want to just leave it. There's a possibility they're not just going to leave it alone. There's a possibility because their mission is mass deportation. So there's a possibility that they may go beyond what they should. Normally, why they just leave you alone and just move on with your life as a green card holder. They may make a big deal out of it. So if you know that your divorce document is questionable and you are in the process of filing for your naturalization or whatever case may be, I don't know. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. But if that happens, naturalization is a straightforward thing. But the thing is, it's more than just your English language test or your civics test. It's more about they have to make sure that you were actually lawfully admitted as a legal permanent resident. And part of that is reviewing your file. And that's why sometimes you have a 2-year green card holder who files an I-751, files an N-400, and then the same divorce document you used to get your 2-year green card becomes an issue for them. They deny the N-400, they deny your I-751, you have to start all over again. So if you are in that situation, consult with an attorney before you actually file, just to be clear. I had someone say, I don't authenticate documents, just to be very clear on that. I had someone come to me today when we're about to file. Well, and I'm trying to do that as a matter of practice now so that you live and learn. There are a lot of cases I filed because I was not even paying attention, but there was no reason to question divorce documents until it became an issue. So now I ask people, especially if you got your divorce document from Africa, anyway, it doesn't matter what country. If it's from Africa, please let me know. I'm very familiar with Nigerian divorce document because I primarily represent Nigerians, but I'm reviewing that. I'm like, okay, let's see. Luckily for him, he sent me his high court divorce documents from Ogbomoso. Sitting she exists. Anywhere, Ogbomoso division. I'm like, this is not how. This is not the wordings. And because I think they signed it by your lordship. I'm like, no. This this is going to come find out the guy didn't even have a high court degree. The high court, he didn't have a registered marriage, so he had no business in the high court to start with. So it's like it's even better. Like a lot of that constitution would go, and thank God I actually asked him. Like, Mr. T, I want the lordship. What was just like Sherry, our Niger people. I'm with documents. You're from anywhere. I'm like, when I saw your lordship, like let me go. If I was an USCIS officer, I would be very angry. I would be extremely angry. Day, and the man be roll law. I will look for the lordship. I'm telling you, it will not fight the lordship. I hope I'm not my nose. It will not fight the lordship. I'm saying, oh my God, your Lord knows without Kenny. But anyway, so in all seriousness, though, if you're in a situation where you're dealing with divorce documents, be sure that nobody's if when in doubt, I have colleagues back in Nigeria that I reach out to, like, hey, can you help us confirm this? Can you help us verify this? But there's some that on face value I can tell is like Even Stevie Wonder would say that but anyway, so that's how that goes. If you've gotten a naturalization application denied based on a Nigerian divorce document. CJ, because I can still feel something in my nose. Can you get me paper towel, please? Anyway, all right. Questions, people. Did you just hear my TJ? Where are you being raised on a farm? Anyway, all right. Questions. General information, nothing specific to anyone's case. If you need anything that is specific to your case, questions regarding your matter, we can schedule a consultation for you and discuss your case over a paid consultation. 3 options: 30 minutes, 140, 45 minutes, 210, 1 hour, 265. Oh Lord. Sorry for my lordship. Thank you, kiddo. Excuse me, y'all. Your lordship. My lordship. Anyway, if you need to contact the thank you, Miss Sanctuary. If you need to contact the office, 334-341-4475, info@olalayalawfirm.com. Okay. Let's see. Watching you from Maine. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Let me put this off. Let me hide this one. Okay, let me go back here. All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Kindly share. Invite your friends and family members because y'all. I mean, we can see how many people come on. Everyone. If everybody, every single time you go on our YouTube channel and you subscribe, let's spread the word because they're loud. We should get louder in supporting one another as immigrants. Good evening, Miss Joanna. Thank you for always joining in from the Caribbean. When I tell you, y'all, that I have people joining from the Caribbean, from St. Kitts and the Caribbean. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, Pastor Isaac. Good evening, everyone. Okay, let's see. Just want to make sure. Hi, TJ. Thank you. He's in his room now. Just country kid. Just country. It's real country. Real country. Anyway, okay. My lordship. Listen, when you're in the middle of a consultation and someone sends you a document and you're like, and you just bust out laughing, not because you're drunk, but I was like, It was like, this I'm glad we're because even the USCIS would have called. They would have called your attorney like, even you know better now. Let's see. All right. Good evening, everybody. Let's see. Hey, Miss Malabi, how are you? Hello, Anthony Sennett, how are you? Hello, Miss Oyefeso. Okay. Oh, I wanted to check. What is that? Let me see. Helser, not Henson. Mid-Senator Sanctuary. Jonathan David Helser. That's his last name. And his wife. They sing together. Love their songs. He has this one. Thank you. How do I say thank you, Lord? Something like that. It's beautiful. It's like a praise, thanksgiving, worship, all mixed together. All right. I got the second prima facie determination. How long will it take to get my green card? Anything about how long something is going to take, please go on USCIS.gov/person time. That's where you're going to get information about person time. There's nothing any attorney can tell you besides what's going on in USCIS offices. The one thing I'll just tell you, though, is for the I-360 petition by itself, it's 42 months now. as far as how long you're going. And people always say, okay, I have prima facie. How long? Your prima facie has nothing to do with your processing time. Prima facie is just to have to acknowledge that we've done an initial review of your case. If we were to approve this case right now, it's approvable. But because we're going to still spend the next 200 years on it, we're going to give you a document that you can use to apply for benefits as a qualified alien until we make a decision on your case. So it's not about this is prima facie determination and then this is how long it's going to take. And it has one has nothing to do with the other. All right. Your lordship. I actually have a client who calls me your lordship, and it's the cutest thing. Like Mr. Y, yeah, Mr. Y. Where is it? He's from Republic of Benin. He calls me your lordship. It's very cute. I mean, we said lordship in Nigeria. It's just that I haven't seen it in a divorce document. All right. Please clarify on K1 fiance visa. Is it advisable to file for green card after the marriage now, but all is still under? Is it advisable to file for green card after the marriage now, but all is still under 90? I don't understand your question, liar. You make your question clear. I'm not sure what you're asking me. I've seen all kinds. I'm telling you. Well, you know, 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕, God's favorite, 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕. That's why 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕, I mean, you can imagine like, my brother online, people think it can be on documents you need not. I don't even know there's high court. High court there one for real though. I don't know. Is it advisable to remarry your wife that you divorced before after you naturalize? Alhaji, we started the divorce process. We had started the divorce, but we went to the embassy to get family visa because we were like, okay, I'll get US and maybe we'll see if we can reconcile. Let me roll my eyes. But no, we couldn't reconcile, and then we went our separate ways, and everybody went to marry, or one of us went their separate ways, and now that person is a citizen, and all of a sudden we just remember that we're great co-parents, and we want to remarry each other again. Can you remarry? Short answer, yes. Yeah, but I had to say yes. So when I hear those stories, I have had conversation like, come on. Let's go. Hey, Miss Mildred, how are you? But yes, you can. Hello, Miss 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕. Hi, it's been a while. Good to have you this evening. Thank you, Anthony Senate. I appreciate that. Hey, Miss Khadija, Queen Khadija, how are you? Oh, thank you. You can sing. I can sing. I can sing. It's just I was in the choir. Ask my mama. My mama's here. I was in the choir. We used to go sing because I went to Corona school with Koyi. And we listen. We don't judge. Don't just leave. But he was in Oyinbo school. We had Oyinbo headmistress, Mrs. Abili. I wonder where she would have been dead by now. I'm not trying to be funny, but she was old back then. In primary school, like I was under 10, so and I'm 46 now, so she was old, like old. She should be dead by no. Anyway, let me just be quiet on that one. But I was in the choir in Corona school. We used to go and sing. I was in the choir was I in the choir in a career? I don't think so. But yeah, my sister and I we love singing. Okay, if we submitted I-45 forms in March 2024, are we required to resubmit the new? No, there's no requirement to do that. How do I know if my divorce decree is genuine? Best if you're when in doubt. First of all, there's no reason why you should have a divorce document from Nigeria, from Ghana, from anywhere that wasn't sent to you by a lawyer, number one, unless you were not the one who filed it. If your spouse was the one who filed, then make sure that you confirm with them that they got it from their attorney. But when in doubt, I mean, I've seen so much, and so many, I should say, that I can tell you what high court, because the Matrimonial Causes Act is very clear. For instance, in Nigeria, it's very clear. When it comes to the other countries, I default to the reciprocity schedule. And based on what the reciprocity schedule says, but then I caution my clients, like, hey, I'm not very familiar with your country's divorce, but this seems to match what they're asking for. But just so you know that it's just not something I've dealt with a whole lot, and put that disclaimer out there. But so I would say, basically, I would say you want to consult with a lawyer or contact your lawyer back home, so they can verify for you, get certified copies from the court before you submit anything. USCIS has scheduled me for I-485 twice in 1 year, but my lawyer, okay, has filed for abeyance. I know who this is. I also have, okay, so what's your question? Hello, Ms. Newman, how are you? I know who you are, Mr. Okay, what's your question you have? They scheduled an interview even with an abeyance. That's USCIS. It's not, as it happened to me, yes. It's USCIS. It's USCIS. But the good thing about VAWA now is, even if they decide not to keep that, you don't have to pay in the filing fees anymore. So you can just file a new one. It's just that you lose, how long that's been pending for. But it's not shocking. It's USCIS. I had my NYC in 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕. Okay, and I remember they have one high. Oh, so yeah. I mean, I used to go because I went to University of Ilorin. So driving from Lagos, I think, don't hold me, I think 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂🐏 is where we went through. I don't know where, I may be wrong. Maybe I'm mixing it with, it's all something on the way to Ilorin. Those who went to Ilorin, you know what I'm talking about. Something along those lines. Because I remember there was this buka along the way, where my dad, without fail, I miss my dad. My dad would have been 87 this coming Monday. Baba Sam, I'm telling you, I don't. When you say a man loved his daughter, I could do no wrong with my dad. My mom would tell. I mean, I think that thing used to drive my mom insane. He just forgot to tell me that not every man is going to think that way to me. So reality hit me when I got married. But he would have been 87 this coming Monday, March 31st. But without fail, we will stop at this buka, and because my dad is taking me to university. Hold your judgment. We listen, we don't judge. Yes, I was daddy's girl through and through. I didn't go with public transportation because my dad did not want me to. Although I snuck from college and went home with some of my friends. My mom has never been told before, but now it's nothing she can do to me. But I hope my kid doesn't do it to me. From school to somewhere, and we went back to school. But anyway, who didn't do it? So there was, I'm not sure it was 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂🐏, somewhere it was all something where that book with that film was stopped. They knew my dad's name, they knew my name, because I'm like, Mawa. Yeah, I've been eating swallow since I was born. Nothing like it. Let's see. Don't tell me they asked for red. And no, it's not. No, don't be fooled. My mom, I have my mom grounded us very well. Don't even try my mother. Can you share more light on the hold? Okay, on I think it was on Tuesday, someone was asking about that, and I think the person was asking on TikTok. I couldn't talk about it because the one thing about me, and if you guys follow me for a while, you know that if I'm not able to confirm information, I'm not going to share with you, because the last thing I want you to last thing I want to do is to share information that you cannot confirm. So now that I've been able to confirm exactly what I was, so it was not about canceling. The person mentioned they're canceling interviews or whatever. No, that's not what's going on. What's going on is they are USCIS, based on orders from this administration, is pausing approvals of green card applications, not interviews now. I've not had any. I think in 10 years, I've probably had one family where we filed a green card application based on asylum that was scheduled for an interview. Most of the time, it's approved without an interview. But they're pausing final adjudication of green card applications for those who have been granted refugee and asylee statuses. So it's not applicable to marriage cases, and at least for now. But those who have been granted refugee status and you've been granted asylee status, USCIS has been ordered to pause final adjudication of the green card applications that were based on those statuses until further notice. So when that further notice is, I don't know. Their reasoning is, and keep in mind, because they've attacked the refugee and asylee March 31st. People getting asylum, profiling for asylum, and those who came in as refugees, they are going after those programs like God, I don't know what it is. So that's what they're pausing right now. So they will not approve any green card application that is based on someone who's a refugee or an asylee for right now. That's that pause. On when that's going to be resumed, I don't know. Now, the one thing that they have not said anything, they have not said that people who are asylees, they cannot file new applications, but they will not approve any green card applications for refugees and asylees for right now. So that's what that is. Okay. Okay, July. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay. Make sure. Okay, is it advisable to file for green card now because it's K1 visa? The marriage just happened this month. There's nothing stopped you from filing a green card. You've already gotten married, so you should go ahead and start the green card application. Okay, let's see. They keep calling me, so I guess don't go for the. I would say probably. I mean, talk to him. I would say probably just send another letter to them as a reminder, and I'm sure he's probably done it. I mean, I'm sure he's done it. So somehow there's a disconnect with but he can still send another letter directly, since this time around I probably would not tell them to reschedule. I'll just send a letter to them and say, hey, we've already done this before. We've done it before. We're sending it again to you that this is what's ongoing. We've already converted, and we're asking you to keep holding this in abeyance until this has been done. And if they deny it, then file a new one, because that's all anyone can do at this point. All right, you're welcome. What options does one have if they miss their I-130 interview? Call USCIS and see if they can reschedule and explain why you missed it. Okay. Ibadan or your 𝐸𝐺𝐻. Okay. Or your buka to eat amala. That's my mom. Because I just knew that it was okay. So I was right. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕 without fail. My dad and I. And you know how they put assorted meat for you. Like, don't be fooled. I've always loved my food. That's my mom. I eat swallow for breakfast. Oh, my daddy did, and my mommy now. I don't know if I'm my mom. My mom. I have two brothers. Those are her favorite children. If that's truth be told. Especially my younger brother. All right, let's see. Okay. Let's go ahead to TikTok real quick. All righty. Hey, TikTok family. Hello, your lordships and ladyships. I got scheduled for interview after that approval. I'm so worried. There's nothing to worry about. Everybody's probably going to potentially get scheduled for interviews. That's just what they're doing with this, especially in this administration. So it's actually going to be expected that you're going to get scheduled for interviews. And you can also get scheduled for interview on the VAW and I-485. They started that under the Biden administration anyway. So there's nothing to worry about. Just make sure you review your file and speak with your lawyer before you go. Are they doing so? so much, so many interviews because they want to deny a lot of cases. I cannot speculate to that, but it's not uncommon that they're doing interviews. One of my interviews last week, the immigration officer was telling us that they actually mandated to call everyone, even if you have an approved underlying petition. The I-45 applicant has to come in because they have to go through all those questions with you, and they have to get you on record and under oath with that. So everyone should expect to have an interview in their I-45 applications. Hello, Fanny. How are you? I-45 got moved to another office, while I-360 since 2022. No change. Thought I-360 got approved first. Moving your I-45 has nothing to do with the approval of your I-360. The I-360 is adjudicated in one centralized office. I-45 can be moved around because it's going to end up at the end of the day in your field office. World myth. That's what I just explained about the I-45 pause for asylees. I heard that they're planning of debarring attorneys that fight for immigrants in court. No, you heard wrong. God forbid. They will send fire and bring an MFM fire to them. Yo, okay, that's why we clarify things here. That nobody's planning to debar any lawyer who fights. They are planning to make things more difficult for attorneys who file lawsuits, who zealously represent their clients, who zealously, aggressively, not in a bad way, but basically for doing our job. They want to make us fearful of doing our jobs. So that's what. So they're trying to now make it look like if you do something, then he's told his attorney general to contact state bars and make bar complaints. So they're trying to make attorneys afraid of filing mandamus, or filing lawsuits, or filing appeals, or things like that. But our association has responded. The American Bar Association also put out a statement like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to control the legal profession and tell us how, because keep in mind, this is the same person who wants to control federal judges and telling people to trying to convince the Congress to impeach federal judges just because things are not going his way. That's the danger of anyway, let me just leave it. But it's not debarring people just because you have fighting for immigrants in court. I mean, then they should just scrap the whole country. Because I mean, yeah. Alrighty. I-130 approved and second RFE sent for I-485. Should that be a concern? I don't know what it is they're sending to you for, but usually I don't worry about, generally, nothing specific to anyone's case, I don't worry about RFEs that say request for initial evidence, because that's something that should have been sent in initially. Now, a request for additional evidence, then that's something they want you to produce in addition to, so they weren't satisfied with something. So if it's an initial, request for initial evidence, and it's usually just a standard checklist item. If it's additional evidence, doesn't mean it's bad. It's just something that would be in addition to that. So just wait to get it. So it's the best to file for citizenship after 6 years. No, that's not what I'm saying. Because if, for instance, some people were not married, but if you are in a situation where they question your divorce document, you still have a right. I mean, you can always still request a hearing if you believe that it was an error. Because the fact that they denied them divorce document doesn't mean they're right. They could have been wrong. I've had cases, especially in violent cases, denied because of divorce decree. And case in point, Miss O has a green card today. Her case was denied because of divorce decree. We filed a motion to reopen. It was denied, and it was finally remanded back in appeal. So there's nothing too difficult for God to do. That's just the one thing that for me is, because in her case I was like, okay, let's just get one more shot. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Deny it. Like, okay, and as God will have it, the AO agreed with us. So I'm not saying we're to 6 years, but it's just something to be aware of. Okay. What document can I use to prove relation between my uncle and I? Your uncle and you for N400. What does your uncle have to do with your N400? Can it dismiss domestic violence case affects immigration? It can, even if it's dismissed, because the fact that a case is dismissed in your state court doesn't mean it's still not going to be considered a conviction. If for instance you had a pretrial diversion where you admitted guilt and then you or deferred prosecution where there was some finding of guilt or court order, some form of court punishment, even though it ended up being dismissed, uh, it just depends. So it's not a yes or no answer to that question. Okay. Let's see. It's from Huluwani. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, what's your question? DS Roberts, you've put your question like at least 5 times that I can see it now. I wouldn't have answered it if or even read it. So I haven't answered the question about you and your uncle in N400. So it's yeah, don't repeat questions. It's very yeah, that's a 6th time. Okay, let's keep going. If you have an ongoing VA case and you are in deportation proceedings, are you okay? Having a VA petition that is pending doesn't confer you any protection. When you have a VA approved, you get deferred action also granted. Deferred action basically is we cannot deport you because you're protected for this amount of time. But your underlying VA can be the basis of your application for relief in immigration court. So normally and legally, everyone should have their day in court. That's the way it works under other previous administrations. We're living in different times now, so I cannot. So that I can give you the general information like I just did, but whether or not that's going to suffice in keeping you where you are, that no one can guarantee anything. Okay. Oh, about the uncle and that's a 7th time. Okay. All right. Let's see. How long would N600 take before it's approved? USCIS.gov/processing time. That would give you an estimated time frame. Is moving pending asylum case from California to Texas wise given current situation? Your asylum has to be wherever you are living, because the asylum office that makes the determination in your case has to have jurisdiction over you. So if you move, it's got to be based on where you're living. So it's not about whether it's better for you or not. So unless you want to move because of that, but I can tell you, your ground for asylum doesn't change. It's still going to be adjudicated by an immigration officer, which the same standard applies in every state. Okay. I think that's something that occurs on TikTok a lot. People repeat questions so many times. I'm not sure what else to do with this, but oh well. If you're going to learn, you'll pass the bone. Okay, yeah, that's what my mom said. So listen, can you tell that was just in the car? Just even don't even know where the hell I was going. So I just knew we were going to stop. It was this kind of bend. Technically, you can't miss it. So whenever we're coming up on that bend, I was always very happy because I knew I was about to eat and real. You know those kind of bukas that it's not fancy, but those non-fancy places are the ones that have the best swallow and orishiorishi something. It was, I'm telling you, I can still remember like it was yesterday. Okay. Can I still file N400 if I owe back taxes? As long as you're paying on it and you have an agreement in place that you can show, then you should be fine, generally. Okay. Try not to miss anyone's question amidst all these repeated questions. Gosh. If I miss your questions, because I'm just trying to. If someone got a 2-year green card through marriage and before it expired, if that they got divorced. Okay, so what's your question, Samir? What's the question you have on that? Can my case be denied if I state that I've worked unauthorized? If it's based on marriage to a citizen, then no. But if it's based on VAWA, whether you're married to a citizen or green card holder, no. If it's based on employment route, or you're changing your status, then yes, it can be denied if it's non-marriage related and specific to your citizen or in a situation. Employment, if you haven't worked without authorization for more than 180 days, then no. But if it's more than that, then yes. How can I go about religion route Air1 visa for a CAC pastor living in Nigeria? We can schedule a consultation to discuss that. You can call our office to schedule a paid consultation, 334-341-4475. But generally, you would have to file an I-129 petition for that pastor, as long as they are eligible for the R1 classification. Can I file for my mom who had an old removal order? You can file an I-130. The question is, will she be able to get a green card? And I'm assuming you're a citizen, so she won't be able to adjust status unless the removal order is you go back to court to reopen and terminate. Okay, so what's your question? Knight of the Orders of Craft. What's your question? My wife got a green card for almost 2 years. When can she apply for citizenship? Depends on what was the basis of the green card. If it was through employment and she's not married to if you're not a citizen, then that's 5 years. If you are a citizen and she got her green card through you and you're a citizen, then she has to wait just 1 more year. Is it safe to declare my forms that I've worked without authorization while filing for marriage? I think that's the same person asking the question. I just answered the question. My niece got her working permit approved, but she didn't receive her card yet. Is she protected? Work permit doesn't protect you from anything. Okay, all right. So let's see. What's the time? Okay. How long does it take a judge to terminate removal proceedings after the case is approved? That's subjected to each judge. What should be the next step for the beneficiary following the death of the petitioner? The I-130 was approved. That's something you discuss with a lawyer. It's not just a straightforward thing that way. Does the person qualify for? Is the person physically present in the country? Does the person qualify to now have that converted to a widow's petition? There's a whole lot of questions that need to be answered, and that is something you do in a consultation. How does someone answer? Have you ever been denied a visa to the U.S., but one has a denied I-140 they applied for within the U.S.? Have you been able to denied visa to the U.S.? I'm not teaching how to answer forms, but in situations like that, you put in no, because that's a visa to the United States. That's different from asking if you've had an immigrant petition denied. However, you can. It is a visa, but this is what we would do. You can, on the last page of the form. I'm not even sure the new I-140 has that space. If it doesn't have the space, you can put an attachment and explain that you weren't denied a visa to come into the United States, but a petition you filed has been denied, and so they know that you're disclosing that information. Is it safe to travel within the U.S. from one state to another? Generally, there shouldn't be a problem, but everyone travels at their own risk, and so okay. Alrighty, so I think we went through, let's see. Can someone that just got naturalized, you said neutralized, they didn't neutralize, naturalized travel to Nigeria? God willing, there shouldn't be any problem, but my nickname is Angela the Traveler. I'm even surprised I haven't gone. Well, I'm not surprised I haven't gone out of the country yet because and it's one we don't even know. So one of my colleagues was like, they put her when it was a secondary inspection, but because she's a naturalized citizen, she had never been questioned ever before, but she's questioned. She just came back from France. Listen, I there's no reason why naturalized citizens should not be able to travel with in peace, but whether you're going to be questioned or not, that's not something I can speculate on. What would one do in case N400 is denied, but not the petitioners? Okay, but you're so if N400 is denied, but you're not the petitioner in the divorce decree. What do you mean? What would one do? I mean, if they deny your case, if you're able to get certified copies or contact wherever the divorce document came from and get certified copies and make an argument and file a request for hearing. But it will still depend on what the document looks like. If you have a divorce document that says your lordship, that's not going to fly. There's just no way you're going to, unless Jesus comes to intervene. There's no lordship that can sign a high court decree from Nigeria. So, but that's something you may want to show someone and see what happens. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But she says she's never been stopped with a question for that long before. But you just never know. When VA application just got submitted, can I travel locally by air? I cannot tell you whether you can travel or not. I'm just going to give everyone general information as far as there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't travel. But we also know that there have been ICE agents in some specific airports. They have no business there, but a lot of things that they have no business doing this days. I was watching a clip of a couple where the wife is a naturalized. There's security camera. The wife is a naturalized citizen. The husband is still in the process of his case, but it looks like he's undocumented. And this guy just went outside of his house. I'm not sure it was Instagram. I saw it was a news channel. Just stepped outside of his house to empty the trash. You pull the trash. Today, for instance, tomorrow's trash day around in my subdivision. So I usually take it out or have to take it out. It just depends. On Thursday evenings, we pull it out to the driveway, right? So that's what he was doing. Just took it out, and the next thing you could see the ICE officials just come out from wherever they came out from and put cuffs in him and took him away. It's crazy, I can guarantee some neighbor who doesn't care for them or just evil at heart must have done that, or some family member. And the wife is a citizen. She was just yelling. It's troubling. But that's what we're seeing. So, can you explain the processes involved after filing I-485? Is there interview biometric? That's up to USCIS to decide. Okay. All right, people. I think we went through all of that. All the questions. Yes, I think so. All right. Besides, okay, I already did that. All right. Okay. So I have I-94 based asylum. Is the right time to apply adjustment of status? It's the policy hasn't changed as far as I know as of today coming on here, that as long as you have been physically present at the time they adjudicate your case, it used to be you had to wait a year, but the policy is still in place. So, but right now, just like I said, there is nothing that says that none of these new pausing of adjudication of asylum related green card is saying you cannot file as of today when I came on, but they're not going to adjudicate. There will not be a final adjudication of a green card application that is based on asylum status or refugee status for right now, because they said they need to do additional vetting to make sure that people were actually qualified for the asylum and refugee statuses. I see people haven't been, because you get vetted in the first place anyway. So regarding the I-45 denial issue, what if someone has already submitted and had selected no other time? If you get called for an interview, you can always explain that at the interview. Oh, thank you, Miss Peggy. But in all of this, y'all, in all of this, if you have an okay, I already answered that question. In all of this, we can I file for bar if my ex-spouse is a green card holder? Yes. What can I do if I didn't receive my travel documents since 11 months ago? If you submit it's not like you haven't received it, you just haven't approved it. So you just have to wait for them to approve it. It's those one we found January 2024. They just approved it last week. So, and to be honest with you, a lot of people are not even in a hurry to travel. And that's the truth. But in all of this, we just have to keep trusting and believing that God is still God. He is still in control. There's nothing anyone can do. And as long as we keep calling on God and believing that He is going to, our matters are in His hands, He is able to do exceedingly abundantly. There's this Yoruba song that I love to sing. Y'all, I don't really have that great of a singing voice when I have a cold, but it goes, ọ̀rọ̀ mi ò ní sú ọ Jésù mi, mo gbàròyé mi Jèhófà mi, gbà mí lágbàtàn bàbá, agbanimágbanitì o. Kò má sẹ́lòmíràn tí mo lè fọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ. Gbà mí lónìí Ọlọ́run ògo, jẹ́ kọ́rọ̀ mi dayọ̀ bàbá. That means that God would not be tired of our situation. He would always, no matter what is going on, and y'all Yoruba speaking people help me, but I think no matter what it is, if you place it before the altar of grace, God, appealing that God, don't be fed up with me. It's me again. But I know that you would deliver us. You would save us from whatever it is. At the end, our stories basically will end in joy. And that is it, that we would have a reason to rejoice. So I sing that song every single day because it's a declaration for me that whatever may come, it's going to end in joy. We shall celebrate, we shall rejoice. So I say this to say this, whatever it is, let it be falling and hard everywhere. Stand in faith, believing that that same God that has paved that way for you and your family to be here. No one can thank you to be here. He would deliver us, and we would, at the end of it, we shall rejoice. We shall be our stories will lead to joy. We shall celebrate in joy, regardless of what is happening, regardless of the fear that they want us to live with. We refuse and we reject fear, but we take on faith and stand by that and decree and declare that we shall all have testimonies of joy at the end of this whole craziness. And so shall it be in Jesus' name. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.